Good morning, everyone. Uh, we're just going to give it a couple minutes here, just so people can get in okay. We'll probably start about 10:05. Hello again. If you're still just joining, we're going to give it a couple more minutes here. Okay, it looks like the flow of people has kind of stopped, so I think we can take it away. Thank you for joining. My name is Kel Hadfield. I am a project manager for the Neighborhood Opportunity Fund at Summer Corps, which is the program administrator for the grant. We'll get into that later. I'm joined by Josh Sun and Ruben Waddy, also on the Neighborhood Opportunity Fund team. So we're going to be here to go over the grant and answer any questions you guys may have. And everyone can see my screen okay, yeah?
Yep, looks good.
Yep.
Perfect. Okay. So, as I said, this is the NOF team. We have Joshua Sun, Joshua Langen, who wasn't able to make it today, Ruben Waddy, and myself. Joshua Sun and Joshua Langen are on the DPD side, the city side. Ruben and I are both at Summer Corps. Today, we're just going to be going over the program generally, give a little bit of the background and mission and who's involved, the program structure, some steps to take before applying, some details about the program process and how to apply, and then we'll finish up with some next steps and some general contact information, and then the Q&A session. If we did, before I get going, if Ruben or Josh wanted to take any part of this, that's totally fine as well. But just to get into the background and mission here, the NOF was launched in 2016 with the goal to build strong and vibrant commercial corridors on the south, southwest, and west sides. It is a reimbursement grant and technical assistance program that supports permanent builds and renovations of commercial spaces. We'll get into it more about what reimbursement grant means and entails. But before that, here's a little bit about how the NOF is funded. So the NOF funds come from the Neighborhood Opportunity Bonus. You can see there that this grant program gets 80% The remaining 20 is split between the citywide Adopt a Landmark Fund and the local impact fund. Um, Unlike a lot of other city financial programs, the NOF isn't funded through local property taxes or federal dollars. It's entirely through this neighborhood opportunity bonus. A little bit about us here at a glance. We have right now 123 completed projects across 31 community areas and 22 wards. And we're going to give you a couple examples of our projects. Here we have Levitt Laundry at 2145 West Cermak in South Lawndale. They had a 136,600 NOF grant. They finished up the end of 2024, so I guess about a year now. But they used the grant to transform their facade, and there was also pretty significant interior work as well. Another one we have here is Brownsville Winery at 4420 South Cottage Grove Avenue and Grand Boulevard. They got the full $250,000 grant. As you can see here, they took this vacant space and transformed it into this winery. A little bit more about who's involved. As I said, we have the Department of Planning and Development, Joshua Sun and Joshua Langen. DPD provides funds for the NOF and works with NOF finalists and grantees to navigate the city departments and requirements, so building permits, that kind of thing. They'll be your liaison for that. And then Summer Corps, myself and Ruben, we are the program administrator, so we work in partnership with DPD, the city, and we will be the primary contact for NOF grantees and applicants as well. So everyone here, if you're interested in applying, the contact information for Ruben and myself is available on the first slide, and there's more general contact information available at the end. But we are responsible for assisting grantees in managing their projects and reaching the program milestones. The NOF was on hiatus for a little bit, but we came back in 2025. A couple weeks ago, we closed the fourth round of the new revamped NOF program. Some of the new features we have is the Technical Assistance Fund. So or we call it the TA fund as well. The TA fund provides additional assistance of up to 20% of the grant amount. And we'll look at how that breaks down in a second. But it's an additional funding just for architects and project management expenses on top of your base grant amount. So you do have to receive the NOF to also qualify for this technical assistance fund. You can apply for them separately. But we also increased the coverage for upcoming rounds. It used to be 50%. We upped it to 75%. So 75% of eligible project costs we can reimburse. And then we also developed a loan loss reserve program where we partner with community development financial institutions, or CDFIs, to help pipeline applicants access capital. So basically, if you submit an application, it looks like a very good fit for the NOF, but you need help with just a little bit of capital or funding to cross that threshold, they'll be able to help you with that. Okay, program structure. This is at a glance how the grant would break down in the scope of your project. So we have the total eligible project costs. That is different from the total project costs. So when you're awarded your grant, it can only be used on very specific work items within your project, which we'll cover in a second. So of those eligible items, the NOF grant will reimburse 75%. Then you as a grantee will be responsible for the remaining 25% of eligible project costs, as well as any ineligible project costs that the NOF can't cover. And then we also have that TA fund, which is totally optional. And there are some requirements. You have to work with one of our architects or project managers that have been pre-vetted, basically. So there's a list of them available at summercorps.com/NOF. I believe there's also a link to it on the city website, Chicago.gov/NOF. Moving on here. Here are a couple of the the elements of the grant calculation. So we have the base grant, and that's the lion's share of it. It's calculated from the eligible expenses identified by DPD and Summer Corps, and the base grant cannot exceed 75% of the eligible project costs, or 250,000, whichever is less. So if your project is, $500,000, we can still only give $250,000. The acquisition, if acquisition is part of your project, we are able to use that kind of as an eligible cost and reimburse partially for it. So if you have a executed purchase and sale agreement, that may qualify for this acquisition coverage. And then again, we have the technical assistance fund, again, totally optional, just another resource we have for grantees. Do need to stress that the grant can only be accessed through reimbursement or an escrow agreement for eligible work that is initiated after you receive your NOF conditional award letter. So if you are currently underway with your project, but you haven't yet received your award letter, that work will not be able to be reimbursed by the grant. So it is important to get the timing right and wait to start construction until you have received that award letter. Here is an overview of the two different ways the grant can be paid out. So we have the reimbursement route, which is pretty much what it sounds like. You pay your contractor for the contractor's work, and then the NOF pays you back, basically. So it doesn't have to be all at once. We typically do about 3 stages. So if you pay for a third of the project, we reimburse you for that third, and so on until the project is complete. NOF is unique in that we have this construction escrow option. A good chunk of our projects utilize this construction escrow. I think it's about maybe 60 or 70% will do this, where you put in your contribution, so your 25%, the city puts in their contribution, the 75% goes into this escrow account where it gets held until the contractor completes work. And once the contractor has completed the work, documented everything, the escrow company, the account holder, will then pay the GC directly. So you don't pay your contractor. The title company pays the contractor. And similarly, that's usually about 3 draws. So 3 payments. It doesn't necessarily have to be all in one go. Okay, so before applying, some eligibility requirements. First off the bat is location eligibility. This is really, really important. So we cover the south, southwest, and west sides, but only along these specific commercial corridors, which you can see in the image here. So this is to strategically focus this economic development to make sure that it has a lasting impact in the community. I think DPD is due to do the next evaluation of the commercial corridors in 2026. So they happen every 5 years. This map may change a little bit in the near future. If you want to check your property's eligibility, we have an interactive map, which is what you see here at Chicago.gov/NOF. You just enter your address, and it will tell you if you are on an eligible or a priority corridor. Eligible applicants, Our commercial property, so that includes offices as well as retail spaces, cultural institutions like museums and theaters or event venues, and then nonprofit organizations, as long as they have an on-site commercial component. So an example of that, we've done a nonprofit organization built out a coffee shop in their office space. And they do like workshops and that kind of thing at this coffee shop within their property. And then we also do artisanal manufacturing production services with an on-site component as well. So they make an item and then they also sell it on that property. Some ineligible types would be residential properties. This does include home-based businesses and live workspaces. We are able to reimburse for work on facades of mixed-use buildings. So we can do the interior of the commercial, the exterior of the whole building, but we aren't able to contribute to any work on residential properties or the residential portions of the property. We also aren't able to take on social service organizations that don't have that commercial component, places of worship that exclusively promote religious teachings, or industrial or heavy manufacturing, which includes things like food and beverage processing. But we will later on talk about a couple other grant programs DPD has that are able to take on those heavy manufacturing companies. Eligible expenses would be these permanent fixtures like roofing, facade improvements, minor improvements like painting when they're part of a larger project, building demolition, security measures, HVAC. Basically, we had a grantee put it a very good way where if you take the building, you turn it upside down and shake it, anything that falls out cannot be covered by the NOF, but anything that stays this permanent fixture there is likely eligible. So those ineligible expenses would be like minor repairs when they're not part of a larger project. So if you have like a $500 painting project and that's it, that's not something the NOF would be able to take on. The construction or rehabilitation of these can't talk today. It's still early. The residential portions of mixed-use buildings or apartments outright. Repairs or improvements to bring a property into code. If that's the entire project, we're not able to do that. We do have more room if those code fixtures are part of a larger project. And operating expenses of any kind like payroll or inventory. Here's another example of one of our projects. This is a bit of an older one, completed a couple years ago. Ted's Place, 5813 West Madison Street in Austin. They had a smaller scale grant at $44,000, and I believe there might have been some interior work, but I think the majority of it was to update their facade here. We also have Black Planet Products at 107 West 95th Street in Roseland. They are, I think, the smallest grant we've done at just about $10,000. They updated their facade here, got new signage, and then you can't really see it in the photos, but they also did some security upgrades as well. Here are some resources that we hope you will take advantage of before applying. First off, we have these application toolkits available at summercorps.com/NOF under applicant resources on the side there. It'll take you right down. We have a series of them that cover all the required portions of the NOF application. So there's an overall guide to submittable.com, the platform we use for the application, just going through what questions are on there, how to make an account and everything, how to upload things, all that stuff, as well as examples of the kinds of documents that we're looking for. We also have a walkthrough of how to create a sources and uses table. We have how to provide the proof of site control and sources of funds that we ask for, and then how to present your construction bids, as well as tips on how to obtain them. We also have a host of community partners who are extremely helpful to us, to our applicants and grantees. We have a full list at Chicago.gov/NOF under resources, so you can find the organization closest to you. We are in the end stages of developing a kind of database that goes over what each organization does. Some of them are lenders. Some of them can help you fill out the application. They do a lot of different things here, so that will be coming soon. A few other resources, like I mentioned, DPD has several other grant programs that if the NOF isn't the right fit for you, these might be better suited. The Workforce Solutions program you can use, I think in addition to the NOF, it's a reimbursement grant for employee training. If you have more questions about these, I'll let Joshua Sun take it away at the end during the Q&A. But just to overview, there's also the Community Development Grant. There's the small, medium, and large. So small is similar to NOF, where it's grants up to $250,000. Medium is, I think, $250 to $5 million. But again, Josh can correct me.
Yeah, sorry. It's 301,000 to 5 million.
Got you. Thank you. And then large is over 5 million.
Mm-hmm.
And it's similar to NOF, but they cover the entire city rather than just these commercial corridors on the south, southwest, and west sides. And then the Small Business Improvement Fund, Summer Corps also administers this. So I'm a little more familiar with this one. But it's also a reimbursement grant for properties in TIF districts, tax increment financing districts. They operate on a rolling basis, so different TIF districts open up for the grant at different times. You can find more information about that on the city website or on the Summer Corps website. So a little bit about how to apply. The application period is rolling, so that means that the application is open year-round. You can submit at any time. The deadlines that you'll see are when we start evaluating the applications we've gotten in that window. The next evaluation deadline is going to be 11:59 p.m. on Friday, February 13th, 2026. And the grant finalists for that period will be announced in spring of 2026. You may, and again, as I said, you may submit the application at any time, but if you submit now to February 13th, you'll probably hear back in spring. As I mentioned, the NOF application is entirely online. It's only available through submittable.com. A link to the application can be found at Chicago.gov/NOF. What to know in advance: you do have to create an account on Submittable. It's totally free. If you have applied for other grants through Submittable, you can use that same account, same email and password. If you want a preview of the questions without making an account, you can see them in that application toolkit at summercorps.com/NOF. You won't be able to see the questions or see the application without making an account. So if you would like a workaround, there's that as an option. The applications can be saved as drafts and continued later, so you don't have to do everything all at once. And you must upload all the required documents. Applications without the required documents will unfortunately be ineligible and will have to be disqualified. A few common application mistakes do relate to those required materials. So if they're missing, or if they, instead of the construction bid, it's just a blank document, that still counts as missing. So that does make the application ineligible. We'll have to ask you to reapply for the next round or future round with those required portions. Insufficient preparation, so applicants who don't yet have their financing or site control to meet these baseline criteria will, again, probably have to ask that you apply for a future round, but because the application is rolling, there's no rush. And then incomplete responses, there are a few open-ended questions on the application. They're about 100 to 250 word limit. But if they're incomplete, that also will kind of knock your application. What to expect about the program process? The NOF projects are selected on two main areas criteria. One is project readiness, so applications that demonstrate site control and financial feasibility. By that, it means for your overall project as well as your contribution to it. More on that can be found in the NOF program manual, which is on the website Chicago.gov/NOF. We also evaluate on project realization. So applications must provide construction cost estimates, detailed business description, so a business plan, and a strategic plan. Not required if you're an existing business, but if you are a startup organization, you are required to have a business plan and preferably a strategic plan as well. If you're an existing business, we encourage it, but it's not a requirement. And the NOF grant is competitive, so selections are based on the other applications we receive in that round. If you don't get selected one round, it may just be due to the competition there. So if you select for, or if you submit for the next round, it's more than possible that you'll get selected later on. This is a little bit text heavy, I know, but the anticipated NOF project timeline from the point of selection, so if you are made a finalist, to when your project is completed. We have these 5 different stages. This PowerPoint presentation is available on the city website and the Summer Corps website if you would like a closer look, or you could reach out to any of us. We can send it over to you. But the conditional award letter is awarded between stage 2 and stage 3. That is something important to note. So stages 1 and 2 are kind of the paperwork stages. Once that is all taken care of, you are able to start your construction project, and those expenses will get reimbursed. Okay, in conclusion, we have a couple more example projects. This is Ositos Tap in 2553 South Ridgeway Avenue in Little Village. They took about $200,000 NOF grant, transformed this vacant property into a bar and restaurant here. And then we also have Magnolia Screen Printing, 2504 West 63rd Street in Chicago Lawn. They had a $110,000 NOF grant. Totally transformed this property. It was 3 separate storefronts. They combined it into their workshop to screen print T-shirts and things, and then they also sell those items in their store in the same site. Some next steps, as we said, the evaluation deadline. The next one will be Friday, February 13th at 11:59 p.m. The grant finalists for that period will be announced in early 2026. Applications must be submitted online via Submittable. We aren't able to take hard copies of any kind. And applicants are encouraged to work with our community partners to develop the strongest application they can. Here is our general contact information for DPD and Summer Corps, and I will leave that up. We can go into the Q&A, I think. So if you have any questions, go ahead, drop them in the chat there. Okay, great. I see.
I'll start reading some of the questions for you to answer, Kel. So this one is from Veronica Johnson. As a rolling grant, what is the frequency, aka when will this come back around?
Great question. So the funding is available year round. The rolling application just means that it doesn't close. So there's no point in the year where you can't submit. You can submit at any time, but it will just be evaluated at the next deadline. So it doesn't necessarily come back around. It's available year round.
Great. The next question we have is how can we get in contact with the community partners to get help with submitting the strongest application?
Glad you asked. At Chicago.gov/NOF, if you go under resources at the top, there's a full list of our community partners with phone numbers and their addresses. I think emails as well, but it may just be phone numbers. And that, Josh or Ruben, would somebody be able to drop that in the chat, a link to the city website?
Yes.
Thank you.
Next question is, do you know off the top of your head which resources offer any options or support for reviewing and testing applications before submission?
Yeah, that's a great question. It depends on where your business is located. If you want to reach out to me via email, I can send over a list of more tailored community partners near you who might be able to do that. My email address is just khadfield@summercore.com. So first initial, last name. I'm happy to take a closer look at that for you, or anyone who would be interested.
Okay. The next question is, how can architectural and engineering be pre-approved?
By that, we are referring to the actual architect and project management firms. So if you go to I think it's on the Summercore website, so summercore.com/NOF, we have a list of them, and they went through a review process, like a vetting process, with the city and with Summercore. And so if you work with one of those organizations, uh, those are the expenses that are pre-approved and can be reimbursed.
Great. The next question is, can a nonprofit open a business incubator with a restaurant coffee shop model that's tied to it?
Um, yeah, off the bat, I want to say, yeah, we would have to, look at your application, your business plan, but just generally, yes, that does sound like something that would be
And
eligible.
I wanted to add, um, the whole point of NOF, in addition to like the overall goal, is to make sure that there is a revenue generating component to this because we're trying to bring businesses to historic commercial corridors and to bring back the vibrancy. So we want people to come, walk to a business, be able to spend money, continue on next door to go, pick up a card, go get their hair cut, eat at a sit down restaurant. So the ultimate business plan will need to have a revenue generating component to it.
Okay, the next question is a youth center considered a daycare center? Uh, or another way to put it is, does a youth center fit into the category of social services?
Um, it's kind of a similar answer where we'd have to look at your business plan and your application closer to know exactly. That one kind of varies. But again, like Joshua said, the revenue generating component is kind of crucial there.
The next question is, will the grant cover the construction of a washer and dryer area for a business? I know it will not cover the actual machines.
Um, yes, if I'm understanding correctly, yes, it would be able to cover construction for like I'm thinking like a laundromat. We can do the kind of HVAC hookup stuff or plumbing stuff for it and the flooring, all that kind of thing. I hope that answers your question.
The next question is from your corridor map. It's not clear how much of 95th Street is covered. Where can I see a more detailed map?
Sure. If you go to Chicago.gov/NOF, there's a link at the top to the eligibility map. So you'll be able to scroll in as close, enter your address to take a closer look at that.
I'm also putting a link to the map in the
Thank you.
chat for everybody. So there you go. The next question is for a new awning, does the business have to go through the city and get a public use permit?
Um, I'm actually
Let
not too.
me for a new awning. Yes, I think depending on how far into the right of way, you may end up needing to get like I forget what the permit is called here, but it's essentially like an encroachment permit for use of public space. So that'd be dependent on what DOB or the Department of Buildings would require you to do. And then let's see if we can give you a link to the Department of Buildings. I'll put that in the chat as well.
Thank you.
All right. The next question is, will new doors be covered?
Yes. Yeah, new doors and windows are covered.
And just to clarify, new doors will be covered by the NOF as long as they serve the commercial space. If it is a door on the commercial floor that only leads up to the residential portions, we might have questions about its relevancy to the commercial use. But in general, yes, new doors are very much eligible for the Neighborhood Opportunity Fund. The next question is, if we just acquired a property in September this year, would the property be eligible for getting credit for acquisition through the NOF grant program?
Yeah, that's another instance of us having to take a closer look at your application. It's kind of a case by case basis.
The next question is, do you have to have a project manager or can your general contractor serve as both contractor and project manager? I'll answer that one. You don't have to have a project manager. The Technical Assistance Fund is purely elective. And typically, general contractors do act as project managers, and that's why you see general management fees and general conditions, overhead and profit, and stuff like that on bids. So you don't necessarily have to have a project manager, but sometimes it is better to have a project manager to help facilitate parts of the construction management process that are difficult, such as collecting compliance paperwork for escrow draws. Okay, the next question is, we're planning an in-person workshop with business owners to help them with applying for the grant. Is Summer Core available to help with presenting at these workshops?
Yes, we would love to. Um, if you want our contact information, Ruben, could you put that in the chat as well? And we'd love to help you out.
Sounds good. Two more questions. If you are seeking a grant in a specific industry, such as the entertainment industry, are there any specific resources that can help you with the NOF grant tailored specifically to your chosen industry?
Um, I don't think so exactly. Some of our community partners might have different resources like that. But we ourselves, like DPD and Summer Corps, we don't really have anything at the moment.
Where's the question again?
In the Q&A.
Right. Which, who is it? I can't, I can't follow which one it is. Oh, open. Sorry. One second. Hmm. Yeah, I think in addition to like whatever resources we have in terms of business centers, maybe look at your chambers of commerce to see if they may be able to point you in a better direction. DCASE oversees like we have the I don't know what kind of entertainment industry, but like in terms of the film industry, DCASE is usually the city department that handles dealings with that, and they could potentially point you into a direction. Um, I don't know if that answered your question.
And DCase, I know, also has their own specific grant programs that are
Hmm.
just for the arts. I can't remember the link off the top of my head though.
Yeah. Okay.
All right. Um, my property is one half from an approved corridor. Can we apply?
Unfortunately, at this time, it does have to be on the corridor itself. Like when you search your address, it comes up with one of those. But again, the map is due to be reevaluated in 2026. So if you would like to keep an eye on that, you may be eligible in a future round.
And finally, do we supply a list of project managers that we've worked with for the Neighbor Opportunity Fund?
We do have the list of our approved project managers who would be eligible for the TA fund, so that reimbursement. I think that link might be in the chat. But Ruben, not to volunteer you, but I'm sure Ruben would know more than me if you're looking for something like a different kind of list.
Okay, that's it for the questions.
Perfect. Well, thank you all for joining us today. Josh, Ruben, if you have anything you'd like to add, that's about it for me. But always happy to answer any questions, phone or email, that might come up after this.
I think is there one more question? Do green infrastructure projects count, such as permeable pavers and green roofs?
Uh, yes, generally. Again, have to look closer at the bids and everything. But we've had projects in the past that those have been components of.
Great. No, thanks, Kel, for running this presentation. Again, we encourage everyone to apply and or just reach out to us if you have a question, so we can help you get to a point where you have a strong application and you can apply and potentially get to grant. So thank you.